Welcome back to episode 197 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. I'm back again.
You're back.
Again. Yeah, I've been a slacker, Troy. I've been asleep at the wheel here, taking time off left and right. I'm going to have like a meeting with HR soon, probably, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Our HR Gong Show HR, which is non-existent, but
Yeah, everything's non-existent here. I took another show off due to we had the big graduation party for my son who graduated high school. We invited way too many people. A lot of great people showed up, so that was beautiful to see everyone. It also rained the entire day. It's rained just about every day here in Minnesota, and it was outside, so that was a challenge, but we zigged when others zagged, and we figured it out. We were able to keep everyone dry. So, yeah, I'm still recovering. It took a lot out of you. Like,
yeah, I bet.
That night, the party was over at 6. We cleaned up by 7. We're home. My son, like, instantly fell asleep. I mean, he was so wiped out from trying to be social with people. Got to say special thanks to Phil again for filling in for me. Get it? Filling in for me. Did a great job. He'll be back soon. He's probably going to join Monday's show just to keep the vibes rolling there. You notice you like the reverse retro studio vibes, Troy?
I do. All I see right now is the logo in the upper right if you're watching on YouTube. But if I don't have these pictures up, right, the background is bright. It's like very yellow.
Yeah. This is what happens when I'm bored. So had to go with our beloved North Stars colors there and do some retro vibes. Well, did you watch Game 5 the other night?
I did.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts?
My thought was that GM from Florida was pretty ticked off and he threw the water bottle against the wall in the press box. But I thought Edmonton weathered the storm. There was a couple times in the first period where Florida was getting some really nice shots off. Skinner made some saves, and then Edmonton started going nuts. But then Florida comes back, and it was a pretty good game. It was really good.
Yeah, I hung out with what I'm calling the Stanley Cup Finals crew on the Gong Show Discord again. We had a great time. Then Troy, our buddy Louie, who lives in our town, came over and sat with me in the office, and then he stayed way too late because it was Juneteenth today, and he had the day off.
Ah, gotcha.
Here in the U.S., but podcasters don't get the day off, so I'm feeling it. It was a good time hanging out with Louie. I thought it was an exciting game. Obviously disappointing if you're a Panthers fan. I am happy personally, though, that the series will continue.
Yeah.
What's crazy now, though, is with this distance in between Edmonton and...
Yeah, it's 2 days, right? 2 day break.
And it's one game, right? They have to go back to Edmonton and then potentially back to Florida.
Yep.
So you wonder who that will affect the most. And we're going to talk about McDavid in a bit in his huge Game 5. I thought the play of the game, though, it ended up meaning nothing. But did you see at the end Tkachuk's dive to save the goal?
I did. I saw that, and I didn't watch the replay enough or slow it down enough. But when he made the save, the puck went out. But I thought the net came off. But then I guess it didn't, because they scored right after this, right? I mean, he made the save, or he got the puck out, and then they scored like McDavid did, right? Didn't it pop out to him?
He basically batted the puck right to McDavid, who just fired it right in the net. Yeah. So I just thought, what an amazing play. The effort that it took to do that is pretty incredible. And this is why I kind of like Matthew Tkachuk, because he does stuff like this. But yeah, so now we're at Game 6 Friday night.
Do you think Mitch Marner would have done this if the puck, or did he just slowly skated and stood up and let the puck go in the net?
I think he would have jumped off the bench,
skated for the boards, and took out, just made a line change. What stick length?
I have to figure out which way he was supposed to go first. Like that. All right. Lastly, second to last, before we get started, I got to make a shout out to our good friend Jay, Top Shelf Cookie Sniper. I did a trade on him, which we talked about in personal pickups, where I traded a couple hockey cards for a soccer card, a Ronaldo card from my 15-year-old daughter, who happens to love Ronaldo.
Are we a soccer podcast now? That's like the second show we've talked a soccer card.
Yep. She loves soccer. The package came, and the card is amazing. Really, really liked it. Also, though, Troy, Jay threw in like 7 or 8 more Ronaldo cards for Ava. and even some Perky Minis for me. And so it was a really kind gesture because she was very happy to get not one Ronaldo card, but in total like 8 or 9, something like that. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Jay. It was
that's awesome.
very, but greatly appreciated. And if everyone, if you haven't listened to the Top Shelf Cookie Sniper Hockey Cards podcast, give it a listen. I think it's on all the podcast apps and YouTube. And
I was gonna say, if you want a soccer card podcast, go listen to Soccer Cards United. There, we did our job.
Special ones too, right?
Specialized one, yeah. We shouted out him like 2 times ago. I think so. Yeah. We got Special One has a podcast that does soccer and a little bit of hockey every once in a while. And then Soccer Cards United. They were the guys that were on like Sports Card Nonsense. I think they're hilarious.
They're in Ireland or something like that?
Are they in? Yeah, they're either Ireland or the UK. I think it's Ireland. Okay.
And then lastly, Troy, before we get started, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. Yeah. What that means, Troy, is that we rely on the support of our listeners to help us cover our show expenses, produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. Got a big one coming up that I'm designing t-shirts for. You saw me going crazy over the weekend. It's very easy to support us. You can do it through Patreon. Join on a $1.99 support level tier for as little as $5 a month. You also get exclusive access to the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server and join our community there. It's very easy to do. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, search for the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. Go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the description of podcast apps for the episode and on YouTube as well, and then our Instagram profile and TikTok profile too. We have one new patron, the Hobby Brokers, a very, very nice guy. Chat with him while we're watching Stanley Cup Finals last night. Very good guy. He joined our partner program, so very, very grateful for that.
Thank you.
All right, buddy, you got the game plan?
I do have the game plan. We begin the show with the almost greatest player to wear number 97. Then we take a look at another Hobby Deep Dive Sets Edition. Will it be Phil's Blast from the Past that he keeps saying he wants on here, but who knows? I don't even know what it is. I think I saw it. I'm not sure what it is. Then we take a look at Hobby News, and then we look at a segment on, are there too many rookie cards? Josh did some digging, did a little analysis. Hobby mystery. No, that's not a hobby mystery. Hobby drama, maybe. Then it's off to new product releases, followed by Josh and me picking out some of our favorite hockey cards in the current PWCC Weekly Auction. And then we end the show with any personal pickups. Okay, Josh. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers. So we are now looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners up in the Hockey Writers Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. Josh, the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 97, per the nominees in the Hockey Writers Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is this guy, Connor McDavid. Yes, it is that Connor McDavid. So before everyone goes nuts, here we go. There were no other runners up at number 97.
How is that possible?
Oh, here we go. I'll tell you. Fun fact about 97 before we get into it. Per the website, hockeyreference.com, only 10 players have ever worn number 97 in NHL history. So not a lot of competition. McDavid's second, I guess.
Including?
But, well, Kaprizov for sure.
Yeah, our guy. He's not. Yeah. He's better than McDavid. Come on. He's not on there. Just kidding.
As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 97 was Jeremy Roenick. And, okay, while Roenick might be the greatest NHL player to wear number 97 in the Hockey Writers article when they first did it, maybe, if they get around to updating this thing, McDavid's going to take over the top spot. Now, if I remember right, Roenick, I think, might have more career points right now, but he also played 17 seasons or something compared to, I think McDavid's on 9 right now. But
the Roenick bit's not going to age well.
No, that's that spot is McDavid's whenever they get around to redoing it. All right, our boy Connor McDavid. I know we've talked about him a lot, but let's look at him some more. He's a center from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada. McDavid was selected first overall in the 2015 NHL entry draft by the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid has played in 645 regular season NHL games over a current 9-season NHL career. McDavid has played all 9 seasons of his NHL career with the Edmonton Oilers. Awards and accomplishments, he's got a lot. 2015-16 All-Rookie Team. Now, Josh, do you have any guess who won the Calder during McDavid's rookie season? I had no idea. This isn't meant to like embarrass you or anything. I was just curious if you would have any guess who won the Calder when McDavid was a rookie.
Well, McDavid had a collarbone thing, right?
Yeah.
So he missed a lot of time. That's
missed 3 months.
That's why he didn't win the Calder. I don't think it was Mikko Rantanen.
Nope.
I feel like it's a guy that didn't pan out, but I'm going to go with Dylan Larkin.
Nope, not Dylan Larkin. This guy did pan out. It was Blackhawks winger Artemi Panarin.
Oh,
who had 30 goals, 47 assists for 77 points in 80 games. And like you said, McDavid missed the first 3 months of the season, which equated to 37 games with a broken clavicle. However, McDavid did end his rookie season with 16 goals, 38 assists for 48 points in 45 games played. I actually think he got third in the voting. I think Rantanen might have got second. I can't remember exactly. All right.
Why is rookie scoring so low now? It's like Beniers wins rookie of the year with like a half a goal and
special
like
players,
3 good shifts.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
All right, McDavid, 5-time Art Ross winner, 4-time Ted Lindsay winner, 3-time Hart Trophy winner, 1-time Rocket Richard winner, 5-time NHL First All-Star Team selection, 1-time NHL Second All-Star Team selection, 7-time NHL All-Star Game selection.
Wait, Troy. You skipped Stanley Cup. How many Stanley Cups do you won?
Oh,
Shots fired!
Oh boy. Hope no one's listening to that outside because people might start ducking. Yeah, no Stanley Cups. However, 3-2. Momentum swings back to Edmonton. We never know.
Anything can happen, right? 2-game series. That's what it is.
It is exactly 2-game series. McDavid for his career, 335 goals, 647 assists for 982 points. So I'm trying to think. I think Roenick has over 1,000. Did I say 17? I didn't say 1,700 before. If I did, that's dumb.
So he'll get 1,000 points next year.
Yeah.
At what, 27 years old? 20? How old is he?
He should be 27, 28. He should be maybe 29.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. McDavid has made the playoffs in 6 of his 9 NHL seasons, compiling 37 goals, 80 assists for 117 points in 72 NHL playoff games played. I think I updated that this morning. I can't remember for the game yesterday. Best regular season of McDavid's career. Oh, I need a new picture. Here you go if you're watching on YouTube. Best regular season of McDavid's career from a point standpoint was his 22-23 season, where McDavid had 64 goals, 89 assists for 153 points in 82 games played with the Edmonton Oilers. There's not much I'm going to tell you about McDavid that you haven't heard before. He's one of the best players in the game today. He has tremendous acceleration and high-end speed, fantastic on-ice vision, an endless array of moves to create time and space like he did against Florida yesterday. It was just silly. He has lived up to and possibly exceeded all the hype that was around him coming into the NHL, following being the number 1 overall draft pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft. In his 9 seasons, Josh, he has scored 100 points or more 7 times. Obviously, we kind of mentioned it. You hinted at the knock on him is rightfully so, is that he has not won a cup.
Shots fired!
This is my new hell is now the shots fired button.
Like anything we do on this show, we're going to ram it straight into the ground, Troy.
We're going to run into the ground. Okay. Obviously, McDavid is still playing in the NHL. He had another fantastic regular season this year, scoring 32 goals, 100 assists for 132 points, 76 regular season games played. Plus, McDavid made the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in his career. Oh, that's a lot. All right. Fun, interesting facts, Josh.
You got a lot of them. Holy cow.
Well, they're all stat-based because I was like, there's a lot of stuff we've talked about with him. Nicknames, McJesus. I've never heard Davo.
Yeah, that's dumb. Lame. Davo.
Crane. The Crane?
No. Crane. Is he Karate Kid or what?
Or does he maybe look like a crane? Look at this picture. I know
He
you
looks
picked.
he looks like a figurine on top of a birthday cake.
Yeah, it does. Or the chosen one. Okay.
Oh.
But Connie McDavid was not in my nickname list, I guess. So
Connie McDavid is the best.
All right. Second fact. On November 14th, 2021, McDavid became the 6th fastest in NHL history to score 600 points when he had a goal and assist for numbers 600 and 601 in a 5-4 win against the St. Louis Blues. Only Gretzky, Lemieux, Peter Stastny, Mike Bossy, and Yari Curry took fewer games than McDavid to reach the milestone. He became the 6th player in NHL history to win the Art Ross Trophy at least 5 times. Wayne Gretzky won it 10, Lemieux 6, Gordie Howe 6, Phil Esposito 5, and Jagr 5. Through 500 NHL games, McDavid had 724 points, which was the second most all-time through 500 games among players selected number 1 in the NHL draft, behind Mario Lemieux, who had 971 on February 22nd, 1992. There you go. There's an obscure, weird fact. On April 8th, 2023, McDavid scored his 150 point of the 2022-23 season. First time an NHL player has had that many points since Mario Lemieux had 160 in the 1995-96 season. That one blew my mind. I thought it was more recent than that. On January 2nd, 2020, of course, I put 2025. It's probably 2024, I hope. McDavid became the 5th fastest player in NHL history to reach 900 points, 602 games.
Pretty good.
On April, what was that?
I said pretty good.
Oh, yeah, definitely pretty good. On April 15th of 2024, McDavid became the 4th player in NHL history to get at least 100 assists in a season, joining Wayne Gretzky, who did it 11 times, Lemieux, who did it in the 88-89 season, and Bobby Orr, who did it in 70-71. Nikita Kucherov joined this list on April 17th, 2024, getting his 100th assist in a game versus Toronto. And that's pretty wild to me that there hasn't been that many seasons of 100 or more assists. I feel like there should be, but I guess not.
Well, then you had 2 guys this year do it.
Yeah, 2 this year, especially with today's game where we're not, the people aren't smoking in the locker room and they're all elite athletes and everything. All right, final one. McDavid's career regular season points per game number is 1.52, which is 3rd all time behind Gretzky at 1.92 and Mario Lemieux at 1.88. So he's definitely a good player. Congratulations, Connor McDavid. We'll see if you can win a cup, or else you won't be in our GOAT conversation, right? You got to win a cup, is what everyone told us. So we'll see.
Okay,
all right.
Now let's say that McDavid wins 2 or 3 cups by the time it's all said and done, just hypothetically.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in that GOAT level conversation.
Yes.
I don't think he'll ever be considered better than Wayne Gretzky. Do you?
See, this is where I get in trouble. I think he's a better athlete than Gretzky,
sure,
but it's a different game. It's a different era, like we've talked about 100 times. And it's, how do you compare the era stuff? No, he probably won't be. And I won't sit there and argue that he is, but he's definitely a tremendous athlete.
Well, that's kind of my setup question, because is there a tougher argument for Lemieux? I think I would put Lemieux ahead of McDavid too. And again, you can't compare them directly. What I think you have to do is you have to compare how dominant they were in their era versus like how dominant McDavid was in his era versus how dominant Lemieux or Gretzky were in their eras. And
well, plus Lemieux came back from cancer and still was pretty dominant. So that's pretty crazy.
I mean, what do you have, like 160? But that was the year he had 160 points or something like that, right? It's crazy.
So, pretty crazy. All right, rookie card. Everyone should know this one if you've listened to our show for more than like 15 episodes. 2015 Upper Deck Young Guns, Connor McDavid, number 201. PSA 10 pop is 2,898. It's closely approaching 3,000 every show. Every time we read about it, it gets a little bit higher.
Yep.
Gem rate 47%. This card, which we are used to seeing trade fairly regularly in the $2,300 to $2,800 US dollar range, had a recent sale, Josh, of $2,088 US dollars via eBay, verified in Terapeak. On April 20th of this year, there was a sale for around $2,900 US dollars. So I don't know what happened, if it was a weird auction time, that 2088, but someone got a deal. If that was, I mean, it's paid for. So I think they had a pretty good deal, but this is kind of the pop count and young guns and all that fun stuff.
This is a card whose value swings with the headlines, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, but if it's right around $2,000 historically, that seems like a pretty good price.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Connor McDavid, it took us 197 episodes to do a profile on him.
Oh, breaking news, people. I apologize. So I'm like, last couple shows I've been on with Phil, or when me and Phil are on, I'm talking about the whole greatest player to wear a number. And I'm like, I'll have 3 more episodes left, and I got to figure out something new to do. Nope. Our good friend Neil reminded me that we didn't start the almost great, or the greatest to wear a player number until episode 24. So we went through all the numbers, and then on episode 124, we must have started the almost greatest. So I got to get to 223 before I can do a new segment, because that would get us through number 23 of the almost greatest to wear each number. So I got time. I got a couple more months.
You do. Here's why I support this decision. Because as we've learned through this whole years-long endeavor now, that the best players are like in the first 20.
Oh, it's nuts. I looked. Like, I'm going to get hate mail constantly for the next 2 months, because once you get through, we'll start with, I mean, zero's weird. I can give you, it's Martin Baron, I think, is the almost greatest, or 00 or 0. I can't remember which one it is. But then you go 1 through 23, and it's just, there's great players. There's multiple great players that are in the runners-up list. So it'll be interesting.
Like, we suffered through the 60s and 70s, and we can't quit now.
Yeah, no, we can't.
Totally support it. Okay, we're going to move on. Hobby Deep Dive. Another Sets edition. Back with another Sets edition. We had Phil whining about not doing Blast from the Past from 1998, so I thought I'd give him another shot try, see if he can win the vote.
It's not going
remember how our Hobby Deep Dive works is we come up with 4 options, put them up on an Instagram poll, and let you guys decide, let the people decide the winner and who we should talk about, learn about, and do a deep dive on. Once the winner has been chosen and certified by PricewaterhouseCoopers, Troy, didn't know if you knew that, but we're very fancy here. Then we do a deep dive on that player set. Here's a very quick recap of the 3 previous sets now that we've looked at. 3, yeah. We looked at Allure 16-bit, Atomic Refractors, and 0809 Jambalaya with the help of the wonderful G. McLeod, the last one. So kind of set the bar high there. Jeez, I'm going to live up to that one. But we did come up with 4 new options. We did put up that Instagram poll, and you guys voted. So here's who you had to choose from. 1996-97 Upper Deck Game Jersey cards. 16-17 Glow Peachy. Phil's 1998 OPG Chrome Blast from the Past. And then 2021-22 Fleer Ultra Medallions. You got the winner's try?
I do. Results? Right here.
Convincing win. It's not Blast from the Past. Sorry, Phil.
No.
You came in third. 1996-97 Upper Deck Game Jersey. Now, do you know what this card is?
No clue until I saw the pictures, and I saw those pictures. I'm like, these are pretty cool. So I can't wait to talk about these.
Yeah. 37% of the vote for Game Jersey 96. Glow Peachy came in at second with 23%. Then Blast from the Past at 20%, followed by Ultra Medallions at 19%. So at 37% of the vote, Troy, that makes this week's Hobby Deep Dive 1996 Upper Deck Game Jersey set. There you go. You're watching on YouTube. Yeah. Phil was I thought he felt pretty confident, but third place finish. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a little bit, Phil.
Yes.
But the hobby's spoken. So I had never seen these cards before, but there had been a couple of record sales that we reported, and that sort of got them on my radar and gave me the idea to add them to the candidates for this week. Like we're showing now is the Pavel Bure, one of the game jersey cards. Here, Troy, I'm just going to kind of get right to it. Here is why the set is significant. The 1996 Upper Deck Game Jersey set is widely viewed as the first set of hockey cards to incorporate pieces of game-used jerseys into cards.
Okay.
It's a seminal set in that the concept of adding memorabilia to trading cards help expand the appeal of sports cards to a broader collector base. Like with a number of other sets we profiled, the 1996 Upper Deck Game Jersey cards were not used exclusively for hockey either. This set was utilized in baseball and football as well. So if you want the highest selling of all these cards, I don't think it'll be a shock as a baseball one. It's the Ken Griffey Jr. that sold for as much as $2,550 raw. Highest selling football game jersey card is Joe Montana, that's sold in a PSA 8 holder for as much as $2,200 raw. Interestingly, though, Troy, there was no basketball version of this card. So if had there been, and in 1996-97, the Michael Jordan would be like $142 million, something like that, because that's how this hobby works. The cards are vertical. The top half of the card shows a picture of the player, and then in a square memorabilia window in the lower half of the card is a piece of the player's jersey. In most cases, it appears that the jersey swatches are one color, but occasionally, Troy, there will be two color swatches, which can increase the value of the card and make it makes it more interesting, just like with patches, right? The more colors, the more breaks and textures, right? Typically the higher the value. So 1996-97 Upper Deck Hockey was broken into two sets, Series 1 and Series 2. Troy, there's no extended series in 1996.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I don't know where that came from. So in Series 1 of the... there were 13 cards on the checklist.
Yeah.
Series 1 featured the first 5.
Okay.
It was Steve Yzerman, Brett Hull, Doug Gilmour, Jaromir Jagr, and Ray Bork. Here's a look at the Yzerman in Series 1. These cards, Troy, are not numbered, but were a very tough chase. So hobby pack odds were 1 in 2,500 packs and 1 in 5,000 packs in retail. So to hit one of the 5 in Series 1, it would have been 1 in 12,500 hobby packs and 1 in 25,000 retail packs. Then in Series 2, the final 8 cards on the checklist were released with the same overall pack odds. So you had, again, 1 in 2,500 hobby, 1 in 5,000 retail. The 8 players on the Series 2 checklist are Mario Lemieux, John Van Beesbrook, Eric Lindros, Troy. Should we pause the show? Look it up and maybe place a bid on one of your
I'm going to place a bid on. I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah. Mike Modano, Pavel Bure, Mark Messier, Theo Fleury, and then finally Mats Sundin. Now, the Mats Sundin game jersey card is actually an error card that it has Brett Hull's stats on the back.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure he would have preferred Brett Hull's stats.
Well, he's not. His stats weren't too shabby.
He's no slouch. Not Brett Hull. That's a pretty strong checklist overall. The 13 players. How and why was there not Gretzky on this though?
Maybe they're like, man, we're putting Gretzky in too much stuff.
We're not going to make that mistake going forward.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay,
so I gotta challenge you on they're saying that Sundin would want Hall's stats. I just looked it up because I was like, I thought they were pretty close. 13
points maybe, but not goals.
So Sundin had 564. Brett had 741, but Sundin had way more assists.
Yeah.
And all right, maybe.
Well, Hall is the Stanley Cup, right?
Sundin would like the cups too. How about that?
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
Closer than maybe I presented. I concede that point. It is wild. Had there been a Gretzky, you'd think that would be pretty valuable. Okay, so we'll look at the top 5 highest selling of the 13 1996-97 Upper Deck Game Jersey hockey cards, and then with each's respective top sale. Remember, as always, all sales made on eBay are verified as paid for in Terapeak. Number 5, Troy, Brett Hull. An amazing 3-color jersey swatch.
Yep.
So for $341 in September,
someone got a deal. Great job, whoever got that.
You'd have to think this would go more than $340 today. That is a great card. Kind of want one of these now. Number 4 is Yzerman with the PSA 8 we've already looked at with the solid red jersey swatch. It sold for $600 its top sale this past February. Jaromir Jagr with a yellow jersey swatch sold for $787 in March of 2022. I like that card too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pavel Bure 2-color swatch. I think we looked at this a couple
Yep.
times. This one sold for $1,096 this past May. And then the number one selling Upper Deck game jersey card is a Mario Lemieux.
Awesome.
Nice 2-color white and yellow jersey swatch sold for just under $1,200, $1,199 in July of 2023. So I was kind of curious because what I love about Card Ladder sales history is you go back pretty far. And I'm like, well, let's go back. I don't know why I picked 2018, but I went back to January 2018. Like a Jagr or Lemieux would have cost you around $200 at that time.
Sweet.
So a pretty cool card.
Yeah.
Significant in the hobby.
Yep.
Kind of a first. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you learn anything? Is this, or would you want to own any of these?
Well, I got a couple thoughts. So these were in Series 1 and Series 2, right? Just the flagship back in the day when they were first released.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't these make a comeback? I would like to see. I mean, that would be cool. Second, do you think there's any way you could make an auto version of this with keeping kind of the same look? I don't know if you have to shrink something here, but I think that'd be cool too. But yeah, I didn't know about these cards until you kind of were talking about them and showed me, and they are pretty sweet. And I'm usually not a guy that wants patch by itself or game jersey by itself. It's not my thing unless it's like someone I PC. But these are pretty cool. They're really nice looking cards too. Like, I think they did a really good job. Like, the logo looks nice and integrated. I complained about that last show, into the ground. I like
it's unique.
I like the presentation of everything. They look awesome. Like, I wish these could make a comeback. You want to kill some of that retro stuff? Bring these back. This is some retro stuff that I want to see.
I have a new stance on tributes and retro.
Oh, here we go. Yes, let's hear it.
I'm for it under certain conditions.
Okay.
Like, I would actually, this would be a great card. I'm going to lay this out for you, and you tell me if this is a good idea.
Okay.
You put this card design in SP Game Used.
You know what? I had that thought when I first saw the pictures of these, because I remember you always said SP Game Used needs another card. You have the Future Watch Auto and the Sign of the Time. What was Sign of Times? And
that's SP Authentic. We're talking about SP Game Used. That
has Game Used. I thought you were saying Authentic. Well, I think it should be an SP Authentic. But anyways.
Okay, I could buy that too. Fine. It can go either way. It has to be what I wanted to. No, you got to stick with me, because at first you're like, oh, this isn't going to work.
Okay.
I want it to be a rookie year game used piece of memorabilia.
Okay.
I think that you have jersey, and then you have like a patch out of 25 or something like that. I don't care.
Okay.
It's a living set. And this is my big thing with any tribute or retro now.
Okay.
So there's one Wayne Gretzky. That's it. Never again. Right? The problem with all these tributes and retros is that by the time you get to the 947th Wayne Gretzky, it loses a little bit of its steam at that point.
Yeah. No, agree. I like your idea.
And then you have a new fresh crop of rookies come every year.
Yep.
You have a little bit more rookie game used memorabilia content.
Yep.
And make it a really awesome chase that has a very classic design that's been very popular that people love. Who do we submit our invoice to for fantastic ideas in Upper Deck?
So, well, I like your idea. I'm still going to say do it in SP Authentic.
Okay, that's fine.
In our Discord, or not in our Discord, in our group chat, we were talking, and everyone had to pick 5 sets that they wanted to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up picking SP Game Used as one of my sets. So SP Game Used is now gone in Troy's world. So SP Authentic, that's where this is going. Your idea is great, but it's going into SP Authentic.
Yeah, these are very cool. I only see these becoming more popular too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I'd be shocked if these cards are worth less 10 years from now. Okay. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Of course, we are super grateful to them for their support of our show. Troy, the current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. Be sure to head to slabsharks.com to place your bids. Almost 1,900 cards to bid on this week. many bangers. There's always
Oh,
awesome cards in the
Phil,
auction.
there's a Stanley Cup. Phil.
Yeah.
He
Well,
doesn't want that.
wait, look what it's right next to. Go back.
This blast from the past? No, that's
Oh, there is a blast from the past. So
there
I
is a
thought-
blast from he brought it. He on when we previewed,
Oh, okay.
he looked at it.
So go to slapsharks.com, check them out, place your bids. So you've talked about Phil. Are there any cards now that you're maybe thinking about bidding on, or do you just plan to fall asleep 5 minutes before the auction ends?
my power move.
Your move.
My power move of falling asleep before the auction. No, there are some. I keep watching. Those stick ones are so awesome, but they're very spendy.
Oh yeah, there's
like,
a bunch of them too.
Yeah, there's this Gretzky raw one, which is actually now falling behind the Bure Ovechkin for the current bid.
Pavel Bure is about as he's like the one of the guys I can think of that's impervious to not the whole argument of you have to win Stanley Cups to have a hobby chase
and not be Russian, right?
Yeah, not be Russian. Well, not if you're Pavel Bure, because he's hotter than dog snot, Troy.
Yeah,
as they say.
I just love these things. Look at this Lafleur Richard for $6.15 Canadian, or sorry, Bella. Oh boy, Phil made fun of me because I said his name wrong. Bellevue.
I think he said Bellevue.
Yeah, I said Bellevue. Jean Bellevue. And then
Jean
Phil laughed at
Bellevue.
my French accent. So yeah. And again, the Solani with Howardchuk, awesome. But yeah, there's just there's a lot of cards.
I got a couple I'm targeting, but I really want them, so I'm going to be sneaky about it. I can't spill my secrets. Maybe we'll see them in personal pickups.
Don't worry, hobby fam. I'll find out and I'll spill the beans.
My secrets that nobody would want anyways, but that's okay. Trey, these auctions are kind of a moment each week because Slapsharks crews work really hard. They work their tails off to create and have created what I think is, probably the premier eBay consignment service for Canadian hockey card collectors. They've done it. These guys, they're working harder and they keep making things better from their processes, their packaging, their new website. Now they got an app. They're promoting their auctions like crazy to attract the most hockey card collectors possible. They're at every card show imaginable. So if you are a Canadian hockey cards collector, we'd strongly recommend considering Slapsharks for their consignment services. They will make your life super easy by doing all the work, and your cards will be featured in one of the best weekly auctions for hockey cards. So head to slapsharks.com for complete consignment information and to start the process today. Oh, I miss this, Troy. Hobby news.
Hobby news.
That's terrible. Hobby news.
Yeah, you've been away so long, you don't even know how to say hobby news anymore.
I know. It's sad.
Well,
all
right, let's do it.
As we always do, we start our tradition with the Road to Infinity update, where we take a quick peek into the unprecedented, I guess maybe, early rise of the Connor Bedard base Young Gun PSA 10 pop count. Each show, we dutifully check the PSA 10 population report, see how many more Bedsy Young Guns have made it through the assembly line of graders over at PSA and have achieved the vaunted PSA 10 gem mint status. So when Troy updated us on Monday, the PSA 10 pop count had risen to a lofty 3,699. And now we're just a few days later. Drum roll, please. We're now at 3,749, which is an increase of 45 in the past 3 days.
Guess those E-Pack ones aren't coming through yet.
Not yet. 8,205 have now been graded for an updated gem rate of 45.6%. So, Troy, this card now has the third highest PSA 10 pop count of any card, as it just surpassed the 1990 OPC Premier Yarmer Yager, which has 3,721 PSA 10s. The top two are a ways away. We're battling here. So, interestingly, Jack Hughes surpassed Kaprizov by 5.
Oh,
so there's 5,248 Jack Hughes PSA 10s, number one spot, and then 5,243 Kirill Kaprizov.
So I got to show you this. Did you see this? And this isn't like a sponsored anything. I'm not trying to do an ad here. If you go to ComC's site, look at this. Connor Bedard and the Young Guns is like the title. They're doing like grading specials now on if you submit Connor Bedard's through
kind of like Slapsharks did with
so I'm curious if this helps at all. And they're doing a free pre-grade review on all Connor Bedard Young Guns. So I thought that was interesting. But I just think
Yeah,
it's
so it's
funny.
going to be a while before it gets into the number 2
Yeah.
or number 1 spot, but it keeps rolling. And you're right. Whenever these EPAC ones in mass hit the population report, I think we'll see it start to pick up again at a more rapid rate. Well, we've already talked about McDavid, but we got to circle back a little bit, Troy. I don't know if you saw this. We also picked the same photo. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but no, see, yeah. Now we're going with this photo.
Okay. What is that?
It's the Don Cherry, like player of the game suit when he was like a young lad, or this might even be his juniors, but it's awesome. So I'm leaving it.
Well, Connor McDavid just set a single playoffs assist record. Even though Troy, it looked like the Edmonton Oilers were going to get swept for a minute there in the Stanley Cup Finals, it's getting harder and harder to place the blame if they do eventually lose on McDavid. He's had actually a pretty good playoffs overall. So much that he's already set a single playoffs record for most assists in a postseason with 34.
Yep.
That surpasses the 31 apples Wayne Gretzky had in 1987-88 playoffs. I would argue, Troy, anytime you are beating a Wayne Gretzky assist record, that's pretty nutty. Because if anyone's owned any stat in any sport in the history of all sporting, it would be Wayne Gretzky and assists.
Yeah.
Right, there's that everyone loves to reference that if he never scored a goal, he'd still have the all-time.
It's still have the all-time record with assists.
Record in points, right?
Yeah.
He's only scored 8 goals, though, in 23 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he's only got 8 goals, McDavid currently sits 4th all-time in points in a single postseason at 42. Gretzky had 43 in 1987-88. Lemieux had 44 in 1990-91. Well, we know that. Smoked our team. He probably had all 44 in the Stanley Cup.
Probably against the North Stars.
Gretzky, then going back to Gretzky, he has the most all-time with 47 in 1980-45 in Troy. In just 18 games played, he had 47 points in the playoffs. Wowzers. So, given that the Oilers have at least one more game, maybe 2, if he gets 3 points, he would be second all time in most points in a single postseason. So let me ask you this question. After the first 2 games of the Stanley Cup Finals, it's looking a little rough.
Yes.
For a lot of after the first 3, to be honest. Now that he's found the scoring touch again, had an awesome Game 5, do you think even if they still do end up losing, because they're still facing an uphill battle, right?
Yes.
To win two more in a row is going to be tough.
Yeah.
But given that he set this record, he's scored 4th most points all time in a postseason, will that soften maybe the critics or keep the narrative a little more positive heading into the offseason if they lose?
I don't think so, because he was just the no-show for the first 3 games, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe I'll say maybe that if they win and get it 3-3, then maybe. But again, you can't put what greatest player GOAT lets their team get down 3-0. That can't happen, and had such an underperforming. It was kind of brutal those first 3 games. That's
I'm not saying this is my opinion, but you don't think that the sort of story at large will be, well, how do you blame McDavid? He had the 4th most points, 3rd most points ever in a postseason.
Hey, great. All-time greats are the GOATs. Take their team, put them on their back, and I don't care how many points you got. Your team better bring your team with you.
Mm-hmm. You think that the hobby market will still take a hit then if they lose, or will his point production help save face in that area?
I think it will be at the lower end of what we usually see in the range of his young guns, somewhere in there. I don't know what percentage his market would go down, or if in any.
Yeah, only 8 goals though, but he's the assist machine, Troy.
Here he is. He made an appearance.
Pulling out apples all throughout the postseason.
The super spear here. Whatever he's trying to say.
Yeah. It's a superhero language that you're obviously not familiar with. All right. From one great to a next. We were talking about this the other day. I sent you some pictures.
Yep.
The Ovi's heavy into his off-season program.
Yep.
Not pardoning the pun there, Troy. It was a very up and down season, of course, for Ovechkin this year.
Yeah.
He continues to chase Gretzky's goal record. Actually, up and down probably isn't the way to put it. It was down, like way down, then up, and then down again in the playoffs. It's also pretty well known that he has sort of this beer league mentality to being a professional athlete as far as like conditioning and diet. And right now, if you're watching YouTube, this picture was widely circulating the other day of Ovi in his grueling offseason program playing a game of pickleball. No, Troy, nothing says you're closer to retirement like taking up the sport of pickleball.
Pickleball. Well, he looks like he's getting a workout. He's sweating pretty good.
Yeah, he's sweating. And I think he's on vacation in Turkey. That's what I saw, or something like that. But in the photo, so he's pictured with a couple gents and a lady. Looks like they just finished up. They look happy. It's a fun game of pickleball. And oh boy. So if you want to describe like how Ovi looks, how do you say large Marge in Russian, Troy?
He looks like he's enjoyed some Turkish food.
Yeah.
But listen, hey, if I'm on vacation too after an NHL season, I'm probably, and it's not like I'm a picture of health either. So,
well, listen, that's the same. Yeah, but we're also not professional athletes at this point. Ovi looks big and not the good big.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to say it. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here or anything. And if you also look hard enough, like on Twitter, you can find a video of him with the same group of people doing yoga or some like yoga or Pilates class outdoors. And it's even worse. Like he looks like the gut is hanging all over the place and stuff. So if you're concerned at all about him continuing to be able to play a top form, this will not make you feel better.
Yeah. I wonder if this has been like par for the course. Like 5 years ago, is it the same deal? Like he just, because it's like those Hollywood actors, right? There's Hollywood actors that can just gain weight for roles and then lose it all again, and it's pretty nuts.
Now, if you're looking for some potential like positivity, or in an effort to take his off-season training a little bit more seriously, he did hire a personal trainer this year, Troy. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Phil. Hired Phil.
And if you were listening, we showed the infamous locker room photo of Phil Kessel, all this pick up and very torn.
You know what he doesn't have though is stress. Phil Kessel has no stress, so he'll live till he's like 105 probably.
I heard he did hire a personal trainer. I don't think it was Phil Kessel. I did see a report though that, again, maybe it was just a rumor when he hired Kessel, that they started their summer training program at a Buffalo Wild Wings yesterday. So
I didn't know they had those in Turkey.
Yeah, glad to see Kessel get some work post playing days. Okay, so all jokes aside, Ovi needs 42 goals to surpass a great one.
Yeah,
the all-time goals record. When you see the photo of Ovi playing pickleball, looking a little largy-margy-ish, is that concerning to you, Troy?
No, I think he's enjoying life. There's nothing I've heard about in his past that he really like. This is like his off season, I think. Now, if he shows up to training camp looking like that, then I'm worried if I'm the Capitals for sure.
But he's not 20. Like we know, because we're in our 40s. You gain weight fast, you don't lose it fast. And the other thing too, and this is my concern about his like conditioning. As we know, the older you get, there's almost no way to exercise yourself out of weight. You really have to change your diet. Or it's not going to happen. Which I don't know if you saw this too, but this was just on Twitter this morning. I was pretty relieved when I saw he actually hired a personal chef, and it was some guy from Europe too. Apparently, the chef has been pre-making meals for Ovi to take with him when he travels. You got the
there he is.
There he is, Ovi chef.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots
all email, all messages go to Josh. No, listen, but yes, you're 100% right. You don't just exercise your way out. It's diet too. Hopefully, being a pro athlete and having a team that has a nutritionist and all that fun stuff where he can get like 24-hour basically support if he needs it, that he does it, because there's some people that probably really would like him. Unless he's going to retire, maybe he's done. Ovi's the kind of guy that would retire just on a whim and be like, I'm done. Like, I don't need to have a like I sometimes you get those athletes that want the going away party, basically. So their last season they announce before so they can get all the presents that they get.
But he's got to get those 42 goals. So honestly, like if he really dedicated himself this offseason and said, he could get 43 next year.
Yeah.
I still believe like in a top condition, he can do that. And I don't know, maybe hiring Phil Kessel as your personal trainer and Chef Boyardee as your chef will help get it done, but we'll have to see. We'll see what he looks like a month from now, because I'm sure more pictures will surface.
Well,
Troy, the Stanley Cup, yeah, and then we'll be embarrassed. Stanley Cup Finals isn't over, but trade season is starting to pick up.
Yes,
we had 2 decently significant trades today in the NHL that I think could have some hobby implications. So first, Troy, Calgary traded their goaltender Jacob Markstrom to the New Jersey Devils for defenseman Kevin Ball, who I have no idea who that is. Do you?
I do not. I feel like New Jersey must be going like I feel like they. I know I've seen the headlines already. Once these trades go, you start seeing the what's the word, like that sensational headlines, like New Jersey fleeces Calgary, but also why Calgary might have got the better deal. It's just like all that stuff. But
so they got this Kevin Ball guy and then a 2025 first round pick. Now, a little bit of so that ends Troy Markstrom's 4-year run with the Flames. He's a 13-year veteran, had previous stints in Vancouver and Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know if this does anything to like pump up or even create, really, for all intents and purposes, a Markstrom hobby market. But where I do think this could be significant is this could have an indirect impact on the markets for players like Jack Hughes or brother Luke.
Yeah.
As we know, the Devils goalie situation last year really hurt the team's success.
Yeah,
they missed the playoffs, and that is never going to help a healthy like Jack Hughes market. So now that they have a more consistent presence in net, maybe again they could return to the playoffs next year, which would definitely help some of those guys, get some postseason play, which is very, very important for that hobby legacy. Does that make sense to you? Are you kind of in lockstep with me there that I don't really see like a big Markstrom hobby, but it's more how can him solidifying their goaltending situation help some of the other bigger hobby guys?
Yeah, if you're not like the elite goalie, it's hard to get in the current game, have a hobby market for a goalie.
But, Troy, it also frees up room on the Calgary side for Dustin Wolf, the 2023-24 rookie goalie, to now, I think, be the clear number 1 or have a shot at it and kind of be seen as the long-term solution in net for the Flames. I could actually see his hobby market getting a little bit of a bump right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed this picture if it was in our thing. So
that's okay. Yeah, so Dustin Wolf is a 2023-24 Young Guns. PSA 10.408, 55% gem rate. Sold for just $51 on June 19th. Been bouncing around from like $40 to $65. So yeah, there's a raw.
There it is.
That's actually a pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool picture. Remember though, the knock on him is he's tiny, 6 foot tall, and he's small.
But he jumps real high.
Jumps really super high.
Northern California goalie too, right?
I don't know where he's from. Is he U.S.?
Yeah, Northern California.
Awesome.
We did bury the lead though, Troy.
Oh, yes, we did. Our boy. Your boy.
Your guy. Our guy.
Right
P to the L to the D in a move that shocked everybody and nobody at the same time. Was traded from the LA Kings to the Washington Capitals.
Yes.
So PLD will be getting now either his 4th or 5th second chance with the Capitals, Troy.
4th team in 5 years, right? Isn't it something ridiculous like that?
Yeah. He had 16 goals, 24 assists for 40 points in 82 games played for the Kings last season, and then also generally brought the PLD culture vibes to LA.
Didn't want to do anything on the ice. Maybe I don't know, man. It's hard for me to believe. Like, could you not love the LA lifestyle and just try while you're on the ice and maybe stick around for a little bit? But I guess
I think his 5th second chance is going to be the charm, Troy. I really do. In return, the Capitals sent goaltender Darcy Kemper, former Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
Now, I've asked this before. I think it's wrong, but he's not the UMD guy, is he? That played for the Wild?
No.
Who's
Kemper's Canadian, right? I don't think he played at UMD.
Oh, okay. The Wild had a UMD goalie for.
Was that that wasn't Josh Harding, was it?
No, because he's the guy that had ended up with MS, right?
Yeah.
There was another backup that had a decent run here.
I can't remember. I don't know who it is.
We'll figure it out. Interestingly, too, Troy, no salary was retained by the Kings. So honestly, as probably bad of a signing as it was by Rob Blake in the first place to give up what they did to sign PLD to like an $8.5 million a year contract that lasts till the end of time.
Oh, Stalock. That's
Alex Stalock. He somehow Rob Blake got out of this after 1 year, which is pretty incredible. He also did. I don't know if you saw the quotes from him too. He sort of fell on the sword and said that we didn't put PLD in a position to succeed, so it's our fault.
Yeah, whatever. Take the sword and it's because this trade I think is legit, just a 1-for-1, and it's pretty crazy that the Kings got out of it without retaining salary. But I guess Washington too. They thought I was reading some stuff on them. They thought they were going to have to retain salary if they tried to trade Kemper because they said no one would probably take him. Well, this is. I mean, I don't know how all the collective bargaining, how all that stuff works, what these teams are looking at, but I think the Kings got away. They should be happy that they didn't have to retain anything.
The super bumming part about this for me is, and you know this, I think I had the greatest bit ever planned for our show where we're going to have our good buddy California Dave, who's a big LA Kings fan, has complained a fair amount about PLD. I thought of a segment where we were going to have him come on and play like a Gong Show game show. Who wouldn't you trade PLD for? Now that can't happen.
That's gone.
Well, there's Mark, right, in our Discord. He's a big Caps fan. Maybe in like 6 months he'll want to come on and play that game from the Capitals' perspective. You also look at the Capitals side of this, Troy. So was it right before the playout or trade deadline? They picked up Kuznetsov from who? Oh, was it Carolina? And he's sort of like a mental train wreck.
Yeah.
So now they've picked up him and PLD, right?
Might as well. Maybe they can't cancel each other out.
Yeah, I don't know. I also heard they're working on a trade from the guy from the Avalanche. What was his name? Oh, Nichushkin. Might as well, right? At this point,
might as well go.
Yeah. Kind of. I don't know, like if their master plan is to like mold, because these guys are talented guys, but obviously very questionable culture vibes, and put them. They're trying to find any sort of talent to put around Ovi, or I don't know. Do you think like there's no way this works out?
Well, maybe they think Ovi will beat them into a pulp if they don't perform. And Ovi's still there.
Is he that kind of a leader? Is he a tough guy like that? Or
I've never heard. I don't know. Like I feel like I know nothing about Ovechkin in the locker room. I'd have to go read one of the greatest named websites ever, Russian Machine Never Breaks, which is like a Capitals website, and see what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Ovi is, but I feel like he would be tough, like especially if he was all in trying to get that goal record. He's like, you're not going to bring me down.
Yeah. Best part about this is that the Wild didn't trade for him.
Yeah, because that would be right up our alley.
Mm-hmm. I would have been mad had that been the case. Okay, you got to check this out. This is kind of crazy. So PLD Troy is a 2017-18 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 441, 47% gem rate. Last sold for a big time yikes $27.
Well deserved $27 PLD. Garbage
on June 13th.
Yeah.
So I look back when he was traded to LA and then signed that extension, or it was a sign and trade, whatever it was, last summer, basically.
Yeah.
The card was around $120 at that time. Like that was like the excitement for PLD going to LA. And now it's gone down to $27.
Now it might jump up to 30. So.
All right. We got to continue with the hobby news, Troy. Local card show shout
out. What? Where's this come from?
Yeah. Back from the dead.
Back from the dead.
Did we do these every episode for a long time?
Yeah, we did it at least every other episode for a long time.
Do you? This is an honest question. Do you know what happened? I have no idea why we stopped doing.
I think there was probably a run where we didn't get any because we rely at least we weren't going to go out and search.
No.
But you got to remember too, you get there's all these local shows that run like every month, and it's just after a while you're like, it doesn't do much. So
yeah, it seems like kind of died on the vine there for a minute, but after probably a year hiatus, would you say?
For sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, more than a year, maybe.
We got approached for 2 local card shows that were pushing up. First one is from our good buddy Nonstop Dave. So anytime we can do him a favor, definitely going to do it. There's a CSC Toronto show in the Markham Hilton, June 22nd through 23rd. That'd be this weekend, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Daily admission, $20 Canadian. You get a weekend pass for $30 Canadian. Slab Sharks Troy is one of the presenting sponsors, so be sure to stop by if you have some cards to drop off and consign with them. And then thanks to Nonstop Dave for letting us know. In addition, this came from our Discord. Our good buddy High Gloss CBJ, who've been hanging out, great guy, and watching the Stanley Cup Finals with, is promoting his first card show, and he's doing it for a very good cause. He has 2 kids that are in the high school band, and to help raise money because schools don't have any money and instruments are expensive. We went to my daughter's band concert, and they were kind of like begging for money at our school too. They said a tuba is now like $9,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and you can rent them obviously, but yeah, and of course when you say this too, like band and the arts and theater, which my daughter's in, they're always the first to get cut too. When there's budget cuts, it's like cut those. Forget about the team that hasn't won a game in 10 years, but cut the band.
So High Gloss CBGA is promoting his first card show in the Southwest Columbus, Ohio area. It's a 100% charity event, which is awesome. Again, benefits this kids' school band program. I think it's very close, he said, to Ryan from Card Collector 2, his shop.
Okay.
So pretty sports cardsy neighborhood there. Definitely love helping promote this because it's for a good cause, of course. It's awesome. We love when people try new stuff too. And I think he said something like 200 tables. So that's a lot for your first card show, I would think. The show is called the CCHS Comic Con. It'll occur July 7th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Central Crossing High School in Oak Grove City, Ohio. So just want to say good luck. And if you're in the Central Ohio area, Columbus area, why don't you go check it out? And if you guys do have any upcoming shows you want us to shout out, just message us, whether it be on Discord, social media, YouTube, and we're happy to do so. That was pretty long hobby news. Have we had that one that long in a long time?
Oh, I'm sure we had a couple.
Okay, kind of our main topic du jour for today is, are there too many rookie cards? Troy, we touched on this a little bit. Okay,
segment's over. I just answered it.
You like the episode, please leave it. We have talked about this a little bit before, but we have yet to have a proper discussion. That's what we're doing today, around not only the volume and sheer amount of rookie cards that are being produced each year now per player. What I really want to talk through with you, Troy, is what we think maybe the magic number is, or if it's already hit a point or could hit a point where there might be too many. And would that have a negative effect on the hobby? This is, of course, too, a front and center issue with 2023-24 products out there and the build up to the Bedard rookie year.
But
I did spend some time and pulled some data together, and I think you'll find this pretty interesting. So we'll start our conversation with the data, then we'll get into the big picture questions.
All right, let's do it.
Troy, let's go back to 1951 at a simpler time where a Gordie Howe rookie became available. And for one of the greatest players of all time, he would only end up having one rookie card in his career. Right? Now, by the time we got to 1966, fast forward, Bobby Orr would have two rookie cards. He has the Topps and Topps USA Test. Fast forward another decade plus to 1979 in Gretzky, and he has two rookie cards as well, as we know, OPG and Topps. And then another 6 years to Lemieux, we're still at two rookies. tops in OPG as well. So all the way through like 1985, 86 so far, it's not crazy. It's like basically one card and there's two options and they're both look the same and half the people can tell them apart anyways.
Mhm.
But now though, when we get to 1990 is where we start to jump up a little bit. Jaromir Jagr Troy has 6 rookies. 1990 Pro Set, Upper Deck French, OPG Premier, Score, and Score Canadian. Right, so we go from basically 2 to 6 in 1990.
Now, are we talking are these like, would they have the RC designation, or do we not even like care about that? It's just a rookie card that was in his rookie
cards.
year.
Nobody can define for me what the RC is, and I don't buy what Beckett magazine says. I have very little faith in any relevancy of Beckett at all at this point. So yeah,
all right,
maybe that's my bias, but so we have 6 rookie cards. Yeah, but for the sake of the conversation, rookie year cards.
Yeah,
let's not get hung up on RC versus that. So we have basically 1 or 2 until 1990. Then we go to 6. Then you go a decade later to 2001, 2, like Pavel Datsyuk. It's 100 on the nose. Unique rookie cards. So it's a big jump in that decade.
Yeah.
And we start to see more sets. Now parallels and inserts right after all the kind of the late 90s where we saw the insert explosion, refractors. We're starting to see numbered cards. We're starting to see a bunch of insert sets, right? It makes sense that it jumps up, but then it keeps increasing. So by 2005-06, we have 539 unique Sidney Crosby rookie cards. Probably an example too, like one of the first examples of Upper Deck really ramping up production for a very highly touted rookie. Because Crosby is a pretty big deal coming into the NHL.
Well, and Ovi, right? Same year.
Yeah, Ovi too. So by the time now, you go from 2005, a decade later, to 2015, by the time McDavid comes into the league, again, after a decade after Crosby, the card manufacturers only produce a slightly greater 613 unique cards. So that's how many rookie year cards McDavid has, 613. Then, interestingly, Troy, for Austin Matthews in 2016-17, it reduced to 456. So it's like 25% less.
Yeah. And wasn't that when print runs they weren't printing very much. I mean, I think they ramped up for McDavid, right? And they probably just cut it back a little for the next year. Because Matthews American, boo. they don't like him.
But then by the time you get to 2019-20 is where there's a definitive shift.
Yeah.
And we start to see like rapid increase. So Jack Hughes has 703 unique rookie cards. Then you go 1 year later and Alexis Lafreniere has 859 unique rookie cards in 2020-21. Then by 2021-22, we're up to 908 for Cole Caulfield. Followed by the next year's 2022-23, we're up in years. We're still not through them, right? There's no Premier, I don't think, for 2022-23. There's no Cup. So Beniers right now is at 937. So when it's all said and done, he could very well be the first player to hit more than 1,000 unique rookie cards. It's pretty crazy. Which brings us, Troy, to our boy Bedsy, Connor Bedard. As of right now, he has 483 unique rookie cards, which come from Troy 9 sets.
Wow. Oh, jeez.
I know this isn't a math show, but I ran the numbers, and that's an average of 54 unique rookie cards per set.
And what did you generally? There's like 25 Upper Deck sets a year.
So I got the numbers right
here. Oh,
you
have it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so figuring there will be at least 25 sets, so we use a conservative 25. By the time 2023-24 products are all out, that means we will likely end up having around 1,300 to 1,350 unique Bedard rookie cards.
That's exactly why no one says I'm a Connor Bedard collector. I PC Connor Bedard because they know that number is going to be so high they don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, let that soak in. 1,300 probably to 1,350. It could be, I don't know, it could be more. You never know.
Never know.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay, so that's the numbers. That's the backdrop. And let's talk about maybe some big picture questions. So I think anecdotally, most people would think, well, the Bedard effect, we'll call it, has probably grown the hobby a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Troy, do you think that it's grown it enough where it can sustain 1,300 plus rookie cards? Where even if you look back at McDavid, there's going to be 2 times the amount of Bedard rookie cards as McDavid.
Yeah, this is I don't know. It's such a conundrum. Like all us old farts would love it if we could go back to the 1 to 2 rookie cards because I know exactly the rookie card that I need to collect. But again, hyped player to the moon, Bedard, 25 sets. Hey, Upper Deck's not about throwing money away, and you put a ton of Bedards in and it sells. And we've seen that. We've seen the pricing go up. We've seen them sell pretty well. So I do think it's too much off the top of my head, but keep going on some numbers so I can wrap a little
Getting
bit.
back to really quick, the 613 McDavid rookies. Do you think the hobby's doubled since 2015? It might have. I mean,
I have no idea. Like anecdotally, sure.
Yeah, it has to be bigger. I have no idea if it's doubled.
Yeah.
You'd also, okay, here's the next question. I'm going to make the argument that the sheer quantity of different Bedard cards that will be available by the time like more products are out 6 to 8 months from now is going to have to drive the overall market prices of his cards down. Right?
Yes.
There's just going to be too many options.
Supply and demand right there. Econ 101. You've nailed it.
And the craziest thing about all of this is we're just talking about unique cards. We haven't even factored in potential print run increases too.
Yes.
Right? Is it conceivable that there's double the amount of Bedard Young Guns printed as McDavid too? Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Definitely way more than Ovechkin or Crosby.
Yes.
Yeah, I think all the anecdotal evidence points to there's going to be a massive amount of Bedard rookie inventory. Very, very well. There already kind of is. Like you're seeing. So we have 9 sets out. I would say for the first 4 to 5 sets, like everything Bedard was $500 right out of the gate.
Yep.
That is not happening with products like Synergy now. And people are taking so much more of a measured approach.
Yep.
And this isn't so much a question as more of a statement, but to me, it's like, well, what's the takeaway of all this? I think if you're hoping for long-term sustained value or even growth potentially in a Bedard rookie card, it is going to be uber important that you pick the right cards.
Yes.
3, 4, 5 years from now, there's going to be a huge number of like, I don't know how to, I couldn't find the right words for these, like plain Jane or non-prestigious or
heck, his Young Guns might
vanilla.
be a plain Jane. You're gonna, like you said, you could get that card. You can now, any time of the day, at any time of night, or whatever, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can get that card.
I think a lot of them have real little value. It's really funny too, like that. Let's go back to the Yager comparison, who has 6 rookies.
Mm-hmm.
We call that the junk wax era. Now, again, I get how that they were printed to the moon, but what's worse, to have 6 cards that are printed a lot versus 1,300 that are printed a lot too? Do you really think that they printed more? Would it be interesting to know if they would printed like more OPC Premier Yagers than Bedard Young Guns?
Do you think they know?
No,
like
they don't know what SPA stands for.
They don't know what game. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what their own product stand for, right? So how are they gonna?
Fired! Shots fired! Shots.
I was just wondering if someone has a spreadsheet there, because they had to at some point write by OPG or by the brand if they got any of that information.
I think we've tried to name this sort of era before too, but if you're going to call like the 1990, 89 to whatever, 92 or 93, whatever, junk wax era, is a good name for this era junk variety?
Yeah.
Like there's too much variety. Do we need 1,300 different?
No.
1,300.
No, we do not need that many.
How many top loader binders would you need to have every Bedard rookie?
I'd have to have corner the market on top loader binders, have a monopoly. Yeah, it is when I didn't know it was that many for Bedard, and that's one player. I would be curious how it is for like even the middle guys or the just every what's the average? Let's throw out Bedard, and then what's the average, or maybe throw out those top 2 guys, 3 guys. I wonder what the average is, but 1,300 is way too many, especially for one guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the more I think about this, I know you're probably going to get into this, but it's like this is you hinted at it. It's where this is where you got to focus. If you are going the investing route or the money route, you have to focus on a subset, and it's got to have some kind of rarity, some prominence, some the stuff we talk about all the time. You can't just willy-nilly go buy a rookie card and hope it's going to do something because it's a rookie card. I think that's over with how many they're printing right now.
Yeah, I just looked up really quickly while you're talking. So I said what Bedard has 489 cards to date. Luke Hughes has 430.
Okay.
But to your point that you're just making, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Troy, where and it's not just in my mind wanting to be a guy that, I want to make money on Connor Bedard. Again, I'm going to make the argument. I don't care if you're the most like collectorly person ever.
New word.
Yeah, new word. We're allowed. It's our show. Nobody wants to spend $500 on a card that's worth $200 next year. That's not fun.
Yeah,
because that's an opportunity cost, right? It's like, well, if I'm a PC guy and I'm a collector and I don't care, I would rather buy $300 or more cards than not have my cards go down in value. I don't buy the argument of anyone that says they don't care about value, because there's a whole, well, why do we only care about the most expensive cards anyways, right? Think about that for a second. So if that's the case, you really have to think, and there's no perfect science to this because tastes do change. But I would lean to the cards with the biggest legacy. So limited logos, future watch autos, seismic golds, cards that you're reasonably confident are going to still be chased 5-10 years from now. Again, it's not that anyone has a crystal ball, but I think we do know enough where you can make educated guesses. And then beyond that, I would stay away from things like sticker autos. Like these people that have been spending $4,000 on sticker autos.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts. I always think that, man, this is somebody that'll be out of the hobby in 6 months when they take because it's not fun. Like I said, to buy something for $4,000 and have it be worth $800 6 months later. I would stay away from jersey swatches unless it's 1996 game jersey, of course. Common parallels, like there's so many what I would call like junk parallels now. You have the out of $7.99, out of $7.49, out of $6.99, out of $6.49, out of $5.99, right? Where there's 47 parallels of the same card. That out of $6.49 is not going to hold up over the long term. And probably base cards, like buy your base cards cheap. That's like what we saw with OPG paper, right? Where part of the reason why it's $200 a box is people are spending $100 raw on a paper base card, which is all sorts of crazy. Any other cards you would stay away from, or any card types that you could think of?
No, I just want something that has a little bit of rarity. Obviously, if you PC them, go hog wild. But yeah, like you said, stay away, sticker autos. I mean, even base young guns. I mean, you kind of got to stay away on some of these guys. We just seen like with Bedard, it keeps coming down, and it will as population keeps going up. And
it has to be a card you really, really like too.
Yeah,
like I've stated before, if I buy any Bedard, it'll probably be the OPG paper Marquee Rookie 3D.
Yeah,
because even if I bought the card for $500 and it went down to $250, I would not be happy.
Yeah.
But I would fall back on, I really like this card, so I can live with it. Versus these people now that are just whatever the new Bedard is, they're dropping big money. And I hesitate to say this because to say a card it looks nice is it's can only be subjective, right? There's no right or wrong answer to does a card look good or is a card good or bad. But cards that I feel like are very ugly, people are spending lots of money on that have no chance in my mind to be valuable over the long run. Okay, so what does your gut tell you? This is gut check time, Troy.
Okay.
If there ends up being more than 1,300 unique Bedard cards, is that too many?
Yes.
Now, looking forward a little bit, as the Macklin Celebrinis, the Gavin McKennas, the Michael Misas of the world enter the NHL, can you see a scenario where these cards continue to grow?
No.
These numbers continue to grow. I mean, we're going to have 1,700 Michael Misa.
Not until we get the next generational talent that has the Bedard hype. There's no way they're going to make 1,300 of Celebrini or McKenna or Misa.
Any other closing thoughts before we move on?
This was kind of eye-opening. Is what I'll say. It's kind of nuts how much is out there, and it kind of just makes you refocus your collecting and your thoughts and what you think about, like where you want to end up in this whole game of all this stuff. But if you're just PCing, hey, have fun. If you're just collecting to collect, I think do what you want to do. But man, some of this stuff is pretty eye-opening when you get into how many cards there are. Like, just think if you're like really love Bedard, you're getting in the hobby, like, yeah, I'm going to collect his cards. I hear about people doing, PCs, and then you look how many there are, and you're just like, okay, I'm out. There's no way I'll ever be able to do that. So,
aren't you glad that we were 2 years solid back into this hobby before? But like, had this been 2020 when we were getting really back into it, we would have been, both of us, I can speak for you very confidently and very, very much for myself. We would have been all sorts of stupid, and we would be the ones spending $4,000. 100% guaranteed.
Focus on what you want to collect. I think that's pretty eye-opening here.
Learn, right? I mean, that's such a big part of this.
Yeah.
Well, we want to know your thoughts. Chime in on social media, YouTube comments. Let us know what you think on this issue. If it does end up being 1,300 plus cards, if you think that is too many as well. Okay, new product release this time. Not a ton going on, but I did get a note from Upper Deck yesterday, I think, with the updated release calendar. We know these dates often change, but once you get it from Upper Deck, it's usually within a week of sort of the release date that they give. We also know that Extended was pushed back a week, so now it's going to drop on June 26th. That'll be both hobby and retail, Troy. Then it looks like the annual AHL set, one of your favorites, for 2023-24, is up next on July 17th. After that, a week later, we have 2023-24 SPX on the schedule. And so it looks like it's going to be at least August, Troy, before we see the likes of maybe 2022 Premier, Metal Universe for Bedard, 2023 OPG Platinum, Bedard Future Watch Autos, and SP Authentic. It kind of bums me out because we're deep into summer now, and none of these big, highly anticipated sets are even on the release calendar radar at this point.
It's gonna be. I think they're in a funk, man. Or it's not really funk. It's just that COVID kind of threw a mess on some of these sets, and it's gonna be a little. I mean, do we think they'll ever catch up? Really, like with the cup? Do you think they can ever get the cup back on track? Because we're still,
unless they do like someone had suggested doing a dual release year, it's not going to happen. But
what's the next cup? 22-23, right? That's not out yet, or is that? Yeah.
That what happened last year is they always have those distributor conferences where we start to see like on screens photos leak. Like that's where we saw the Venn diagram card last year.
Oh yeah. The
Remember
basics,
we saw
right?
that?
Was that the basics?
Yeah. But to your point, though, and you made a very good point. So if you look at like David Adams or like all the pre-sales, 2024-25 MVP, it's not going to happen. But it was originally slated for, I think, July 26th. So assuming that gets pushed a little bit, but we're 100% going to be in the scenario again where we're going to be juggling 3 years of releases between finishing up 2022-23.
Yeah, it says July 26th. You're right.
Yeah, we're on the doorstep of the 2024-25, which is crazy. I don't know, what are your thoughts on all this? It's a little bit of a buzz. I got to be honest. I really want another big set. And part of, the AHL is, I'm sure it has its fans. I don't want to be too poo-pooey on it, but it's definitely not for me. And SPX is I don't really understand the SP brand tree or why so many exist. I know SPX is like the die cutty cards from like the 90s, right? I mean, that's sort of the hologram die cut sort of.
Is that the tech release? Like it's like tech cards? Is that what?
Yeah, it's like the synergy of SP, or I don't know. I get so confused with like how many you have SP, what game used, authentic, SPX, SP retail, a lot of SP. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully August is.
I just want to. Yeah, SP Authentic's gonna come out here pretty soon, right?
I would hope so. Okay, Troy. Time for our PWCC Weekly Hockey Preview. Of course, PWCC is a Gongshow partner sponsor. Very, very grateful for their support of our show. Might be time, Troy, to take out that fifth mortgage on your house because the June premiere auction ends tonight. There's 5 beauties up for bid right now in the premiere. A couple of Gretzky or Crosby Cup rookies. Those are kind of some of the cool ones. There's a sick, disgustingly cool McDavid 03 Tribute Cup rookie. You want to zoom in on that one right there?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Oh. this could be my favorite premiere card in a long. I'm kind of, Phil is all about these right now. Our boy Phil.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting. These are a lot of money, so not quite my territory. But then there's a very ho-hum, not a ho-hum at all, but 1979 OPG Gretzky PSA 8. And then a very nice Gretzky limited logo set. It was really cheap last time I saw it. That's still like $1,200. $1,700. 2012 limited logos game used Oilers patch out of $1,700. What's
Blue Blades or blue whatever, the cowling, the tucks, whatever they're called, the blues.
People hate that. Is that why nobody's bidding on this card?
No, I wonder it's because I don't know. The auto's not. I've seen cleaner Wayne Gretzky's autos, but the patch is 3 color, right? I mean that's like an off white and then a blue and then like white.
Got but if you're watching the auction and there's 3 minutes left and it's still at $700,
I'll bid on it.
Like legitimately, like what would you pay for this card? Knowing your budget, your mentality, I'm not saying what it's worth. I'm just saying what would you pay and be really like, oh my God, I can't believe I stole this card.
I mean, $3,000 maybe.
That's the number I was thinking. I think it's worth way more than that, of course. Yeah. I don't see any. It was just shocking to me how low it is right now. So somebody with deep pockets, you're crazy not to bid on this card. I'm just saying. So in addition to the premiere, Troy, of course, we're getting ready to bid adieu to the PWCC brand and get excited for Fanatics Collect.
Yeah.
The rebrand that it's not just a new name and logo. There is an improved experience that they're going to roll out, enhanced fixed price marketplace, live auctions, partnering with Sotheby's, peer-to-peer trading, and more. Very pumped to see how this all evolves over the next few months. But it is Thursday, Troy. Not sure if you knew that. Every Thursday, we pick out our favorite vintage and modern cards from the current PWCC Weekly Auction. I guess are they going to call it like the Fanatics Collect Weekly Auction?
I don't know.
To be determined. But we're going to highlight them anyways. So let's dig into our favorite vintage cards first. I know I picked a 2, but when I saw this card, I picked a 2 like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. This is a 1979 OPG Wayne Gretzky PSA 1 PWCC E. That is the exceptional eye appeal rating, putting it in the top 15% of the 704 PSA 1 copies of a Wayne Gretzky OPG rookie, which was 106 out of 704, if you want to know 15%. And so what goes through my mind is, because I know the answer would have been a couple years ago, would I ever consider buying a PSA 1 Wayne Gretzky and enjoying it for my collection? And is it possible for a PSA 1 Gretzky to actually be a nice card? Right? I'm really curious about that. So hopefully I'll be able to answer that for myself. I haven't even looked at it too deeply now because I want to kind of do it with you and get an initial reaction. And like I said, if I'm being really honest, a couple years ago, I wouldn't even considered it, right? Yeah. Like PSA 1 equal garbage in my opinion, but it just shows what I didn't know, what I didn't understand, right? I thought, again, PSA 1 was trash. And part of the beauty of this hobby is how we learn, or how learning changes our perspective. Now, that being said, of course, too, Troy, there are PSA ones that are total dumpster fires that I would never consider. But I have learned by looking at what I suppose now are hundreds of vintage cards, a lot with Jeremy Lee, is that the grade, and I made this point before, is kind of in my mind now like a price band, but you really, it has very little to do with the condition of the card.
Yeah.
It sounds weird saying that, but you really have to judge the card for itself. And you have to judge it based on eye appeal, which in my opinion in vintage cards is more important than the number. And you might be thinking, how could that be possible? We've seen terrible PSA 10s.
Yep.
Like jokes. Like, how is this card even possible? And then on the flip side, like maybe like this card, there can be very, very nice PSA 1s. Okay, so I'm going to get up my soapbox. Let's get back to this specific card and see if it's a PSA 1 that either of us would consider adding to our collection. The first thing you got to do is you got to acknowledge it's a PSA 1. If you're looking for the super sharpest corners, the most perfect centering, there's going to be issues. But the question is, do the issues take away from the eye appeal to a great degree, or are the issues more kind of like background noise that are not focal points when looking at the card, thereby infecting how much you would enjoy it? So what I see is, of course, is off-centered, left to right a little bit. Top to bottom looks pretty good. The probably the biggest issue is on the lower left. It looks like there's a crease on the bottom. Are you seeing the same thing, Troy?
So what I see is this almost looks like the whole card might have creases. Do you see these?
Yeah, or cracking a little bit.
Yeah, cracking. I don't know if it's an actual crease or that's cracking or fading. You see it down here for sure. Corners definitely. Again, with the context of a PSA 1, I would be curious what this line kind of is, that cracking between his breezers.
Yeah.
That's what I would be. But again,
like the registration, which is
that's where I was going to go. The registration is almost dead on.
And again, we have to judge this on a PSA 1 scale.
Yes.
It's not judged on a PSA 9.
Like when registration, just for new listeners, is like the lining up of the plates, right? And how you can see here on the oil drop, there's
a little bit off.
Yep, the yellow plate or whatever. I don't know if it's yellow, whatever it is, but it's a little, you can see it on the right side of the drop, so it was a little off. And you can see this, the Oiler logo is a little, it's not centered in the circle. Mm-hmm. It looks like there's a chip here on the black too.
This is probably the most intricate hockey card ever made when it comes to registration and lining up those, like with all the little like fine black borders. There's like a million of them. So, and a lot of high grade ones, those can be way off because for whatever reason, PSA, I don't think is as in tuned to registration as we happen to be.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
I mean, from a far away, like if I'm not sitting there zoomed in 3,000 or whatever magnification, if I can get this card for $500, I'd be in it all day for sure. Like,
I think I would enjoy owning this card. Like, I would enjoy. You see PSA 1s that are literally like bent in half and like half digested by a dog or something like that. And man, for like okay, let's say you never saw the grade, you just saw the card, or this is a raw card, and we knew it was authentic. If this came back a 3, would you be like, no, that's ridiculous that's a 3? I wouldn't be. I'm not like an expert grader or anything like that, but I just think it's a very nice one. I really do.
Yeah, I for sure it's a very nice one. If a 3, maybe I would question it, but
okay.
But for a 1, I mean, when I think about PSA 1, what I'm really concerned about is the middle, the picture. Like that's all I really care about. Like the edges, I don't care about if it's PSA 1. Hey, the registration looks good, like we talked about. I mean, there's some white, like the cracking here on the breezers, but it's PSA 1. You take what you can get.
Well, last sale of a 1979 OPG Wayne Gretzky rookie PSA 1 was $690 on June 9th. All-time high $1,500 from March 2021, so that's COVID pricing.
Yeah.
I think I would enjoy something like this for, let's call it this will probably sell because of the eye appeal rating. on the higher end of whatever that band is. So I'm guessing around $1,000. I would 800 to 1,000 would be my guess. I would rather spend, I think, $800 on this card than $120,000 in a PSA 9.
Yeah.
I think I would get more utility to use an economics
I would
term.
be living in fear that the thing's going to get damaged. House fire.
So this one gets the Josh seal of approval, which I know is coveted by literally nobody. But it definitely gets my seal of approval.
Current bid's $200.
You got the next $200. Ooh,
200 US. All right, next card. Ooh, 51 Parker's Tom Johnson, rookie.
Tom
NBA.
Johnson.
Yeah, Tom Johnson. It's like just the most basic, name. Or Tom Johnson.
It's French, Trey.
It's French. Going back to 51 Parkies for my card. Again, I chose this card because I love 51 Parkies, and I didn't know who this guy was. So I had to look him up and figured, hey, what better way to do this than on the PWCC preview? So let's begin looking at the card. Card is raw. It does have the MBA certified authentic designation, so you can be assured it's real. It's not a fake. Mm-hmm. The card, actually, this is kind of like what Josh was looking at. It looks in really good condition, right? It's raw. But again, we have a 51 Parky. The corners are definitely going to have wear, usually. This one does. But again, if I'm buying a 51 Parky, I'm worried about the picture in the middle. And I think the picture looks really, really nice.
You know what? You know where I'm on board with the corners on this card? Even though they're evenly rounded.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely
it creates like a symmetry that it just feels like an old card.
Yeah. Now, one thing is you'll see it's way off center, left to right. Like there's a big chunk over on the left border and a smaller chunk on the right border. Top to bottom's off too, you can tell. So that stuff, if you can live with it, I think I could with this card and what it will go for. I would be fine with it. One thing I noticed too is you see a little bit blue bleeding over and stuff like that. So there's some of that going on. But you know what I really noticed is on Parkies, usually the text is like faded or missing the cracking or missing part. This is like dead on. I mean, there's very fainted or fading. There's not a lot of fainting. It looks really clean. Maybe a little bit of the red on the 51, 52. But man, looks really, really nice on that part. I mean, I've seen a lot worse where it's just completely faded or missing parts of the text. And so now our boy, Tom Johnson. Did you ever hear Tom Johnson? Nope. I did not. Defenseman who scored 51.
Is he your accountant?
No, he's not. That's John Johnson. No, defenseman who scored 51 goals, 213 assists for 264 points in 978 games played over a 16-season NHL career. Played 14 seasons with Montreal, 2 with Boston. Hall of Famer, Josh. Okay. Hall of Famer, 6-time Stanley Cup winner as a player, 2-time Cup winner as an executive and coach, 1-time Norris winner. And then he was a 1-time first All-Star team selection and 1-time second All-Star team selection. So pretty good player. In today's game, we're so, I don't know what the word is, spoiled, or we see stats and we're like, oh, whatever, 264 points, 978 games for a D. Well, that's the game back then. And 6 cups and 2 as a coach and a player, probably get you a Norris Trophy, get you in the Hall of Fame. So previous raw copies of this card are wide. I mean, there's a pretty wide range. Again, it's raw. It goes to the condition of the card. So you really have to look at the pictures when you look at the sales of previous copies. However, the raw copies that do sell of this card, anywhere from $15 to $150 US dollars. Again, it's all based on condition. And this one looks pretty decent condition. Current bid on it right now is $7 US dollars. So this is something you're interested in. This would be a good card. If it goes cheap, man, start your 51 Parky collection. Start with this one. And then
I think you should tell that to us, because how many years now have we said we love 51 Parkies, and do either of us own a single one?
No. I own Parker's Champions 51 parallel.
Oh, true. Yeah. Boom.
There you go. You got them right there.
Maybe we should have a goal at the expo that we have to each buy. It doesn't
even
have to be expensive. Yeah. So
you can find them. I mean, just some common guy you can find cheap.
Well, a common guy could be a Hall of Famer like Tom Johnson, everyone's favorite accountant.
There you go.
Canadians defenseman. Well, speaking of Canadians, Troy, Canadians from Montreal, my last vintage card is a 1984 Topps Guy Lafleur PSA 10. Now, one of my favorite cards is the 1971-72 OPG Lafleur rookie. And from a hobby market sense, that's kind of like the main, I guess, Playing Days card of his we hear about. The only one we probably hear about from Playing Days. So to see a kind of a high grade, middle career, call it, card, it sort of sparked my curiosity. And for anyone unfamiliar with Lafleur, he played 17 NHL seasons in the NHL. The first 14, Troy, were with your Montreal Canadiens. Then one season with the Rangers, followed by 2 seasons with the Quebec Nordiques. He was the first NHL player to score 50 goals in 6 consecutive seasons, as well as 50 goals and 100 points in 6 consecutive seasons. He just won 5 Stanley Cups, all of Montreal. 2-time Art Ross winner, 2-time Hart winner. Won the Conn Smythe in 1977. Was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Also named as one of the NHL's 100 greatest players in 2017. It kind of feels like a little forgotten to me at times in the hobby. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I will say one of my favorite cards I own is a Stature Guy Lafleur on card auto. Like that's one of those cool, because he's no longer with us. Passed away.
Passed away. 2022, I believe. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a huge chase. We actually don't see him very often in these legend sets, right? It's more like the Bobby Orr, those sort of kind of Lemieux, right? Him and Bossy are kind of maybe in like very closely related in that regard. So here we have a 1984 Topps PSA 10. It's a pop, just a pop 26, Troy. Of course, not a lot of them. I like this card. I love the year. I mean, that's a big factor too. Most people love the 84 set. You've got the helmetless Lafleur. You got his flow definitely going. And another great thing about this card too, one of the all-time great players. It's a gem mint pop 26 Playing Days card. It's not going to break the bank. Last sale, Troy, of one of these was $90 this past January. Also the all-time high.
Wow. That's good. Some sanity in the hobby, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if you saw this too, but we've had some discussion in our Discord too about auction coverage and just like content about how the infatuation is always with the $25,000, $100,000 cards that nobody can afford, which is fun for everybody. And I think the point being made is to a point, and then it starts to feel like, well, this content probably isn't relevant to me anymore. And so it did make me think, and I'm glad. And this is one of the reasons why I love our Discord. I'm glad people are chiming in that because, well, frankly, we're not in the $25,000 card, $100,000 range, and so I very much so prefer to highlight cards like these, the cards that I would actually buy with my money that are in my price range. And I don't know. I just wanted to say that heard the conversation. Think that there's some great points, and I think it's something that people like us have to be mindful of. And you had made the point last week when we did this set. Didn't you say something like all 6 cards, none of them had last sold for more than $100 or something like that?
Yeah, like all 6 that we previewed, like none of them sold for more than 100 or something.
It doesn't mean that, and even in this auction, we're gonna highlight a couple cards like the next one, just because I find it interesting. That's in the few thousands range. That we're done doing that, but I do think it's important to have a mix and not just focus on the biggest of biggest cards.
Yeah, and this Lafleur, its current bid $47.
Pretty awesome card, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Great picture.
All right, let's switch to modern. So the first card I picked, Troy, is a spendier one, of course, but it's a 2010-11 The Cup Alexander Ovechkin honorable numbers patch auto out of 8 BGS 910. So the first thing that jumps out, and this must have hit you too, is it's an honorable numbers card that's vertical.
Was this like a 1-year deal, or is there more than?
I don't know. But I'm not
Mitch.
Mitch. He's probably not doing the best right now. He's had a rough couple of games.
Yeah, we'll let him get through the whole cup.
We'll let him get through the whole roller coaster that is the Florida Panthers fan right now. But yeah, just about every other honorable numbers card I've ever seen is horizontal. So I'm like, I gotta learn more about this. The top half of the card features like a shoulders and above picture of Ovi. The bottom half has 2 patch windows, with both fantastic patches. Both are 3-color. The first patch window is like an outline of the number sign.
Yep.
And then I guess the second patch window would be an outline of the number 8. Looks more like a fat snowman.
No, the first one's the wing.
No, I'm saying the patch window, not the patch.
Oh, the window. Gotcha.
It's like it's like number 8 is the outline, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
But the 8 looks like a fat snowman. Just saying. Then you have Ovi's signature right above, and then it's hand numbered, which we all know I love. 2 out of 8 in this case. So Troy, I think if you prefer vertical cards, but also like patch autos and are an OV guy or OV gal, that this one might be one you want to look at. It's got the BGS 910 grade, which is for a thicker cup card, is a great grade. There is a little bit, I would say, like a touch of bad hockey mouth on OV. He kind of looks like he just got the news that his team traded for PLD, and he's like, wait, what? Yeah. Now, you've seen the horizontal honorable numbers, and now we have the vertical. So we got to put your vertical bias to the test here, Troy. Which do you prefer?
Oh, I don't know. I do think they did this one pretty well. It's hard, I know, on these vertical cards to get everything. You got to sacrifice the patch window, right? Or the autograph window, or the picture,
or the picture of the player.
Some's got to shrink. Usually is what and I actually think they did this one pretty well.
It is a nice card.
I would want to I wonder how it'd be if flipping the auto and the number thing.
The autos on numbers on the autos on the bottom.
You'd have to make it more white down here probably, but I think it's a really good job. As much as we complain about horizontal cards, sometimes they really make sense and they actually allow for a different kind of look, obviously. But this one I don't mind. I think they actually did a really good job with it.
You know, on the auto thing, I'm sure you've noticed this with OV too. He like very much compacts the length of his auto.
Yes.
Like if you had like a McDavid or a Gretzky that took up more of the space.
Who's Sharon Govich, right? Is that the guy that's just the loopy
that's
loops
like scribbles
from the Jersey Devils?
And the other thing I've noticed about Ovi is he never centers his auto. It's always off to the right.
He's doing isn't that the rule of thirds? Like you get the pick. Don't ask me. I'm not a photographer.
It's too much thinking, Troy. Okay, this exact card, Troy, was listed in the May 26th PWCC Weekly.
Oh, okay.
So it either didn't sell or is being really quickly flipped.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because there is no Terra Peak for any of the auction houses. So, but the hammer price for that May auction was $26.40, which is, I think, useful whether the card was paid for or not, because it gives you at least some sort of, given this card is never sold publicly beyond that, some sort of idea of what the approximate value could or should be. You got a current bid?
$330 US.
Okay, you got the next modern card.
I do. And actually, we'll just get the elephant out of the room. Look at that hockey mouth. Like that's straight up hockey mouth.
He's focused there. He's got the eye of the mouth of the tiger.
Yeah, he does. Why is this not zooming in or out? Well, whatever. Okay. 2015 SP Authentic Mikko Rantanen rookie auto out of $9.99 Future Watch auto. I had to do this one because I talked about Mikko Rantanen as the almost greatest player to wear number 96 last show. So I thought it was a nice tie-in.
Yeah.
This is a Rantanen. And we actually probably never talked about this card. I don't think it's a raw copy of the Rantanen Future Watch auto. It's got the NBA certification. Overall, the card looks really, really nice. The only issues, if you look at the bottom left, zoom in, where it says Future Watch, you can see some chipping right there. And there's some little, there's like a string or whatever you want to call it, some cardboard off the corner there. And so that's like the real big issues. I think the auto looks pretty good. Maybe the pen came up a little bit on the stroke right here.
No, he's got a big signature.
Yeah.
Like Ovi. Yeah,
big, wide, and not readable, but that's what we get. I mean, I do think the card looks nice beside those little minor edge things with the chipping. And again, but Rantanen, great player that played 570 regular season games, current 9 season career. He's got a Stanley Cup. One time All-Star second team selection, 2-time All-Star game selection. 262 goals, 355 points, and 617 points for 617 points. So he's over a point per player game or point per game player. Wow, I can talk. And again, over 100 points this season. He had 42 goals, 62 assists, 104 points in 80 games played. Absolute stud. No hobby love. So I'm curious what this card will go for. It won't go for a lot. If you're in the market for a Rantanen, this would be probably a pretty cheap one. Last sale of a raw copy I could find was on June 17th of this year via eBay in Terra Peak for $189 US. Current bid on this thing right now is $88 US.
I guarantee you, in a few short weeks when the season's over and we need content angles, we are doing this year the first annual Gong Show no hobby love all-star team.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be fun, don't you?
Yeah, and I think I can almost name them right now off the top of my head, but I won't. I'll keep them. Surprise.
All right, we got one more card.
Okay, before you even talk about this one, I have to say this. I have never been like more angry at myself for not knowing about these cards. I was literally really ticked off once I saw the image of this that you put in the folder, because I'm like, where have I been? I love this card, and maybe I should see it. I love this card.
Oh, okay, I don't know if I do yet.
Oh my gosh,
I wanted to use this Okay, well, let me break it down because I have a full breakdown of this card. There's a lot to unpack with this card. These are the renditions relics. Well, you've seen these before because there's a Gretzky Steve Yzerman one from the last Cup on Team Canada where they're kind of art cards.
I don't remember that one.
Look it up. I guarantee you've seen that card, and it's like
it's probably a Team Canada jersey. So I was like,
no. It's all-star because it was like teal blue. And it had like teal blue signet. We've talked about that card. Guarantee it. If you look up Yzerman Gretzky renditions, I believe it's when they were on the same All-Star team.
Oh, you did a post about it? No, I've never seen that card in my life.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
I don't like it because the auto's right over their faces.
Yeah.
Or over there. Yeah, that card, boo.
Okay,
this
so
card, yes.
renditions relics are from the Cup. They're art cards where the artist draws or paints a picture of the player. And in this case, it's Nathan MacKinnon because it's a 2021-22 the Cup Nathan MacKinnon renditions relics patch out of 5 BGS 8. First of all, so the first thing is, do you think this looks like Nathan MacKinnon?
100% yes.
Okay, now go to my picture.
What picture?
I did a photo of McKinnon. Oh, you didn't get it. That's all right. Like a head, like to compare, like what real actual headshot.
PWCC honorable numbers.
That's okay.
No, there's no picture in the folder. It's just the two McKinnon rendition relics and then OV honorable numbers. I don't see. Did you? If it doesn't have the PWCC preview, I might have missed it before.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. I don't see it.
Well, it's
we'll find one.
Okay, you find one. It's definitely not. I hope you have this next picture because this.
Oh, I probably don't. The only pictures you in the folder for the PWCC are the cards.
Oh, really?
So here's McKinnon. On-air production meeting.
On-air production meeting.
All right, here he is. That's McKinnon.
Yeah, okay. Now, does it look like?
I think 100% it looks like him.
It's pretty close. Now, it's not, of course, the train wreck that was Manoam Riom. I had that card pulled up, the Leaf Art of Hockey. Like, that was going to be my, if you think I was being, because I maybe think it doesn't exactly look like him, but I get it. It's close. And so I'm going to concede that point. Are you looking up Manoam Riom? You just have to do Leaf Art of Hockey.
Oh, everyone should have that image ingrained.
Well, you can't look at it for more than 4 seconds. Otherwise,
I'm
pretty sure body parts fall off at that point.
There's the Manoam Riom. That's just so bad. So bad.
It is so
not
horrible.
Even near, not 1%. She doesn't look 1% like that.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks awful in that.
Yeah, the card.
Okay, so whether you think it looks like McKinnon or not, you think it does. I'm halfway there. We'll got there. Now, the next thing you got to break down on this card, Troy, is he's wearing like Nordiques sort of reverse retro-y type jersey. It's from a specific game, which I'll get to in a minute. But my question here is, I'm not even going to say it's an issue because I just don't know, is the patch is a very nice patch. It's a 3-color blue, white, but then it looks like almost like a candy apple red. Do you have it? Are we sure that the patch is from that jersey, or is this one of those like Guy Lafleur Nordiques patches and Canadiens photo?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I would.
Mm-hmm.
Depends how, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know. Because that's not an Avalanche jersey, right? That's not the colors of the Avalanche.
Yeah, is there something like where there's like the Colorado State flag where there's like the...
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So potentially the jersey and patch don't match, but potentially they do. There's also a huge, massive string dangling from it that drives me absolutely crazy. But
I've said that many times on our show. I like my patches to have strings and threads hanging off of them.
Okay, here's where like my biggest issue with this card comes from. And it's not so much like it's an issue, it's what I would call like a very big missed opportunity. So Troy, this is a drawing or painting, whatever it is, in reference to a very specific game. It's the Lake Tahoe game from February 20, 2021, where the Avalanche took on the Golden Knights and won 3-2. What bothers me is that while it is game used memorabilia, and if you look at the back of the card, it talks about the game, but there's 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph talks about the specific game right there and how the Avalanche won. And then you get into like the congratulations, but the memorabilia is the very generic. This is game used memorabilia that certifies have been used in an official NHL game or something like that.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's just so they just do that so they don't have to increase production costs by making another one.
They might, and I'm not. But what I would argue is that because this card has a painting or photo from a very specific game with game used memorabilia, wouldn't it be amazing if it said yes and this patch was used in that game?
Yes, 100%. We've complained about this before. Like even I wish every patch jersey game used thing would say what game it was from.
The provenance, as they call it.
I mean, Major League Baseball's kind of figured it out with their memorabilia you can buy in the store. They have a QR code on everything now with their game use stuff, or like foul balls. You can buy mystery balls and it has a QR code. It'll tell you what game, count, player, all that stuff.
Yeah, so there's kind of a lot going on, but you're all in though, right?
I love this. I'm trying to think. Here's the deal.
I think there's multiple of these in the auction too, not just there's a Makar.
Yes, there's a Makar that looks awesome too. Also, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, what's going on in his forehead? Is he?
Well, I was trying to. Is that a reflection? It's a reflection. It's a guy holding a stick.
Oh, I thought it was like pine tar leaking down his forehead.
Here we go. We're gonna zoom in. This is the. Well, maybe not. That might be like eyebrow. I don't know.
That's weird.
Listen, I think this card. I think it looks awesome. Like the detail. Maybe I'm just Leaf Art of Hockey ruined me, and now anything halfway artistic that looks realistic, I'm in. I think it looks great. I'm trying to think how you would do an auto with this, not over their face or body. You'd have maybe, I don't know, but I think this card looks amazing. I think I'm in the minority.
I know they're
looking at how much it sold for.
Yeah, there's jersey. Well, this is 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
This exact card sold on eBay back in February for $295 US. But again, it's out of 5. There are jersey swatches of these two, so that are like the base version. But it's the only prior sale for any, because again, it's out of 5, so not a lot of public sales.
41.
You got a current bid?
41 US dollars. So, Hobby, tell me, am I crazy? Like, I love this thing.
Well, it's good you love it. You're not crazy. You just like what you like. All right, visit PWCCmarketplace.com today. View all the cards in the weekly auction. Of course, place your bid. Personal pickups time. What do you got?
I got 0 this week. Nothing, or this show. Nothing.
I have two? Yeah, I have two. So the first card, Troy, I picked up was a 2016-17 OPG Platinum Matthew Tkachuk Marquee Rookies Red Prism. Now remember, OPG spells Prism Prism, not ZM like Panini.
So there's no
It's at a $199 SGC 10. I got it for $49.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This auction, the PWCC last week. And here's why I'm really pumped about it. Last PSA 10 sale, 112.
Yeah.
So I got me some of that SGC discount, baby.
There you go.
I'm all about that all day long, right? That's and the card is in, like, sometimes we evaluate the card, not the grade.
Yeah.
I evaluated the card and I really like the card. So I'm happy about that. Then I did a trade on my card post where I traded an old rando wrestling card I had for this 2001 Topps Chrome Pavel Datsyuk rookie.
Nice.
Somehow I think I've started a Pavel Datsyuk PC. I'm not sure why. And I got the sweet limited logos. Then these cards like are falling into my lap. I've got like 10.
Are you gonna change your name, your Instagram name to like Datsyuk Collector?
Datsyuk Collector. So I got that going for me.
Nice.
And I never mentioned this too, but if you want to try my card post and get sweet cards like I do, use Gongshow 30 and you save 30%, I think, after your first 3 months. So hey, why not do that? But 2 hours on the button, huh?
On the button every time.
Every time. Well, we'll be back on Monday with Phil. We're gonna try the 3-person Gong Show again. It was a lot of fun last time we did it, so I'm looking forward to that. And if you like the episode, please leave a rating review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description on both podcast apps and on YouTube and our Instagram, TikTok profile. If you can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link, or just search for us on Patreon's website, patreon.com. Troy, we're on social media. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures, LLC. Have a great weekend. Have fun watching Game 6 of the Stanley Cup on Friday night. And we'll look forward to speaking with you all again on Monday.